Hi guys, and welcome back for our Spotlight show. We're so excited today to have Luigi all the way down from Palo Alto. Hi Luigi.
Hi, Sydney. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to take a moment just to get to know you a little bit more. So, Luigi and I actually met down in Palo Alto earlier this year, and it was wonderful. We bumped into each other, and then became friends ever since. So, very excited to get to talk to him. He is full of knowledge about both being a founder in a successful acquired startup, as well as a pre-seed investor down in Silicon Valley. So, how are things with you going down there these days? I know that your partner is still stuck in Italy, and you are a one-man fort in Palo Alto right now. So, what is that experience like working with different time zones and trying to run your VC fund in this fashion?
Yeah.
Uncertain time.
Yeah, sure. Actually, working remotely is not a big deal for us because we were used to do it also even before the pandemic thing. So it's not really a big deal. We always work since we invest in startups that coming from all over the world, but based here in Silicon Valley. We normally make a lot of meeting remotely. So something really hasn't changed a lot for us in that part.
Yes, we do notice that you're actually one of the most active investors during the pandemic than
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of other ones. So we do want to dig deeper into that. But first of all, I want you to tell us a little bit about your background and how you jumped from being, a founder from a small town in Italy that went to a lot of different places to ensure that your startup grew. We both lived in Paris. That was really interesting how you made that transition into after being an acquire founder and then now a VC. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what lesson you may have learned along the way.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I come from a family in Italy that is a third generation family of entrepreneurs. So everything since I was young was about entrepreneurship. So I started my first company in Italy, at 18 years old. So the first website, first email. So in 1998, it was for Italy, was really the first moment for this kind of thing. And after that, I started to grow my company up to 100,000 clients in Italy. So I created one of the top 10 internet service provider in Italy, but eventually I sold it after nearly 11 years to a bigger company, always in Italy. And after that, I started working on other different side of the technology. And in around like 2012, I started to make my first trip in New York, and I made my first angel investment. When I arrived in New York, it was a different mindset already, different kind of doing things, and I started investing. And after like a couple of years, I arrived in Silicon Valley. And when finally I arrived here, I say, okay, this is the place where I want to be. Given my experience of entrepreneurship and investing, so doing startup, doing a tech startup and tech company in Italy, I decided to create my first startup here. So it was a private photo sharing application.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I eventually met my partner, Massimo. He was also a founder here in Silicon Valley. He created a big company here in Silicon Valley, a tech company that raised more than $200 million from top tier VC here in the Valley. And we were passionate about the same thing. So startup, Silicon Valley, and bringing founders from abroad here to give them the possibility to scale faster and scale bigger than in their country. And so we decided to create and fund Lombard Street Ventures, that is a pre-seed venture capital firm based here in Menlo Park, actually, not Palo Alto.
Oh, that's true. Your actual office is in Menlo Park. We just met in Palo Alto. So I know that from my days of moving to such a different place, like San Francisco and down in Silicon Valley, there was so many things to learn. So why don't you share with us during your first year, what was your biggest lesson that you learned during this big move and this big part of your life?
The best thing that changed my life is the way you do networking and the way you interact with people. This is something that is really peculiar for this area
Okay.
because you can talk with everyone. When I arrived here and I started investing, but I started to create my first company here, and they wanted to talk with people, with CEO of other company that can be possible my client or can be possible my competitor. And everyone always gave me 10 minutes, half an hour just to grab a coffee or to have a chat about what I was doing and things like that. So this is really something that changed my perspective. So people wants to give back in any way. So I can help you with your company. Competition is good here. It's not a problem. In Italy, for example, the competition is a problem. You don't want to talk with your competitor, or you do want to keep everything secret because you are worried that they can steal your idea. The different thing is that anyone can steal your idea. Anyone can replicate what you are doing, but
Yeah.
the very big different thing is the execution, how you do this thing, and what kind of team you can bring together to do that thing and to be the best one in the world to do it. So this is one of my first lesson that I
That is
learned
great.
here.
I think that that's a wonderful lesson to share. And I also too feel that way every time I get off the plane, even when I'm there, I feel like there is a huge atmosphere of the mentality of abundance versus the mentality of scarcity, which you do see in most places. And you know, I think that, you know, we also talked about that during our meeting too, about why it's such a special and unique place is because of the people that are in it. And there isn't
Yeah,
another kind of, you know, Silicon Valley anywhere in the world.
yeah, and actually the people that are in here and that are from really all over the world. You can sit in a bar and you can hear people talking in Chinese, in English, in Russian, in whatever language you want, and you can interact with all of them. There is this melting pot that makes this place really special.
That is great. And
Yeah.
so we want to talk a little bit about your fund and how you have become super, super active during this pandemic. So what during this time do you think has changed early stage investment funds?
For us, something has also changed in the sense that we have tried to help more our portfolio companies for sure, like all
Yeah,
the other bigger funds have done. So the first focus was on can we help you? We need to raise, I don't know, a bridge round or just try to keep your burn rate low because we don't know how this thing will going. So you need to have the money and the fuel to go on for more months than you probably was supposed to do. And the other thing is that I think that the pandemic and this situation creates something in the people actually here that they want to create, then they want to do more and better than before.
okay,
And this is why we found really great founder, really good idea, and really products that wasn't affected by the pandemic or was a solution for the pandemic.
great. So I do actually want to point out that Luigi has a very unique philosophy about office hours that I personally, in all my years in this industry, I haven't really seen this being a widespread system. So Luigi, why do you have such a unique philosophy of opening office hours just to anybody to chat, and kind of where did you come up with this inspirational idea, because we don't see it as often? Do you think this is something that's going to be more common as more investment funds kind of grow?
Yeah, I think for us, when me and Massimo started to do the venture capital as a business,
Hmm.
we were inspired by all the other people, and like office hour was like first office hour were made in Y by Paul Graham with Y Combinator and things like that. And but what we noticed is that right now it was hard to find as a founder also if I want to have a real feedback with someone
Mhm.
that can tell me if I'm doing good, if I'm doing not good, can give me some suggestion. It was really hard. So it's easy because you can connect with other people, but you have to ask for time. You need to schedule your time. And we thought that giving like a schedule on our webpage, people know, okay, these are free slot that I can use to talk with Luigi and Massimo, and where we can have feedback, where we can present our product, where we have, I don't know, like a validation of what we are doing, suggestion, whatever. And so we tried this thing, and we saw that it was working really
Yeah.
good, and we decided to keep it. And this is really a real important part of our deal flow.
So you guys, we're going to link the office hour link from his website down in the description below, so you guys can also have access to it. It is wonderful that you have, of course, guys are very busy, but you have also an open door policy to the world in order to give, different startups from all around the world kind of a fair chance as well. So it's very humbling to be able to see that from people in your position. So I do commend you for this. Lastly, we're going to now play a little game. So, Luigi, I asked you to take out 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
You have your 2 pieces of paper? Good, they're also colored. So, on one piece, write something that's true about yourself. On the other piece, write a lie. And then you and I are going to guess, see which one is the truth and which one is a lie.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So, I will go first, and you have to see if you can guess them, okay? So, the first one is, I was in a video game.
Huh.
Next one is, I lived in New York City. Which one do you think is true? Which one do you think is a lie?
Okay, so I will say was in a video game.
Yes, you're right. This is the truth. Awesome. Okay, so now it's your turn.
Okay.
Let's see if I'm as good as you.
So let me see if I can.
Okay, good. All right, so show me one of them first and then show me. Okay.
Allora, yeah, so this one is?
I am a professional
Scuba diver, sorry.
Scuba diver. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. It could be because I know you have a lot of adventures. I run my...
No, New York Marathon. Sorry.
I run the New York Marathon. Oh.
Yeah.
They could both easily be true. Let me think. I think you did not run the New York City Marathon. No, really?
I ran the New York City Marathon. That was my only one experience. This is why it was tricky for you.
It is tricky, yeah, because I know that you lived in New York, and also, it's a very hard marathon.
Yeah. And I finished it also, so it's...
Well, I assume you finished it. Or else that, then you wouldn't be promoting it as a part of the game. Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you so much for playing. And now, Luigi, we would love to ask you about something that you are excited to share with us.
So we just launched at the end of May, the Silicon Valley Italian Hub. So we have partnered here with another entrepreneur, and we have created this physical hub in Palo Alto to connect the Italian ecosystem to Silicon Valley. So we are going to work with university, government, corporation, and startup to help the Italian ecosystem understand the way Silicon Valley think and the way entrepreneurship is made here in Silicon Valley, to help fill the gap and make also Italy get a more sparkling ecosystem.
I know that for both you and Massimo, who are from Italy, this is very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
So this must be a huge dream come true for you guys.
Exactly. And it's part of our give back to Italy, because we are both Italian. We love our country. We are doing business here. We are creating business here, but Italy is always in our heart, and we want to help them and give back something to our country.
Great. And so we will also link that in the description below as well. So thank you, Luigi, so much for joining us on our spotlight. And we wish you a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Sydney, for inviting me, and goodbye to everyone.
Bye.